All right, Patrick Reusse, what's on your mind today?
What is on my mind today? I have a bunch of stuff to slap together, drive around, and my wife's cell phone is not operating, and that is up to me
Ooh.
to get it taken care of.
Oh, no.
Because I'm the one who bought it for her a while back, and we just got a very notice from Walgreens to pick up a prescription for somebody we've never heard of. So we don't know if the wires are crossed or what's going on here. But whoever it is,
Breaking Bad, Pat, be careful.
first name Brock. Brock, go get your shot, will you? Yeah, go get your vaccination, will you, Brock?
It's Brock Lesnar.
Be careful, Pat. You
The
know,
beast incarnate.
you think it's
What
nothing,
happened
and
to
the next
him?
thing you
Where
know,
is
you're
he?
just
What do you mean? He made his big reappearance at SummerSlam on Sunday. First time in 550 days he has stepped foot inside an arena.
How do you look? Last time I saw him, he did
Look
not
like
look
crap.
Well,
does not look good.
his body looks amazing.
Doesn't look good.
Got the
But
bad-
his hair, but he's got the ponytail. He's got the massive sort of homeless man beard thing going on. So
One of my favorite columns I wrote way back when about when he was first state national champ for the Gophers and talking to about the Webster, South Dakota wrestling program, which is what's like this dynasty. And Laurel Preeb, the great Laurel Preeb, used to, is a Webster kid. And he used to talk about how he's Goliath and walk down the hallway and put everybody in holds out in the middle of the hallway and shove them in their lockers. And, wrestlers can be, I think it's part of the nature of bad behavior, don't you?
did you interview Brock much when he was just a college lad?
Just a couple of times. I did a long piece on him in college. He was, just a kind of a young hillbilly. Well, he came out of junior college, right? They couldn't get him into an actual college. He had to go to
Yeah.
Bismarck or JC or some damn thing. I can't remember because it was the academics were a little tough for him at the time. But the one quote I remember was something about I think it was his high school coach out there. Brock had this great big dog, and that he walked around the Webster with, and he said, the coach's comment was about how the dog and Brock were basically the same creature. They ate huge quantities, they drank gallons of milk, and they both liked girls.
Just simple men.
And back then, you could get that in. Now it would that quote could probably get.
I was perusing around YouTube last night, just like watching random videos, and the algorithm knows what to serve me because it served me a 35-minute video from a channel called The Bearded Butchers, and it was Brock Lesnar and these bearded butchers for 35 minutes just carving up a pig.
Oh man, no thank you.
Just
Yeah,
like literally,
seriously.
just like slice it, like barely
think-
saying anything for 35 minutes, just hacking up this dead pig.
I think that was the main product of his old man's farm in South Dakota. I think it was a pig farm. Yeah, and I'm sure when he went out to bring a pig to the butcher shop, he just cracked its neck and walked. It's they are the weirdest breed of people ever wrestled. I remember when the NCAA finals were held at way back in the mid '90s at Target Center. It's a big deal, and we were going to have them this year, right? And then the pandemic wiped them out. But all these guys are like 65, and they're still walking like they still walk down the halls like this. And all those older guys have the bad ears too, because they didn't have the ear protectors when they wrestled when they were guys, so they had the cauliflower ears, and they're great though, man. That's it's the sport. It's the most unforgiving sport there is. I've always said, because if that guy across the ring is better than you, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
There's no place to hide.
And one last note on this. I could talk about wrestling for hours, but I think Judd's going to fall asleep in his chair if we continue to. Gable Steveson was also introduced at SummerSlam, just sort of, hey, let's bring out the the gold medalist. So I have a feeling that that's probably the beginning of a real relationship. So we're going to
he
go Brock
loves it.
Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, Gable Steveson, a lot
But
of Gophers.
I think Stevenson's that's his goal, right, in life, to be.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like Goldberg. He's going to be 300-0. It's going to be. They're not going to let him lose for like 4 years, right?
Goldberg is, they literally trotted Goldberg out, like 54-year-old Goldberg, again on Sunday. They just, every 6 months, they dust off Goldberg to try and get
What was his
a ratings
winning
goal.
streak? What's 200 and some, right? But 5 years or something?
Yeah, I think it was it was under 200, but it was like 140 something. Yeah, it was nuts. He had to be tased tased.
Yes, and then they do the entrance where he, instead of just coming out to the ring, like they follow him coming. Someone knocks on his locker room door, and then he comes out. That's what we need for like you and Judd for Reusse Unchained. Just you guys walking out of the bathroom stalls. Security.
Oh no!
We have to wear robes.
Good.
We have to wear robes when we do it.
No,
Robes
no
are
robes
optional.
and no bathroom stalls.
Robes are
That's in my
optional.
contract, Phil.
So anyhow, we got any sports news going on? Cheryl beat Seattle for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Ever since she badmouthed the officials, man, we can't be stopped. We're getting our share of calls.
We're getting because she.
I said yesterday on
intimidated
Twitter, Phil Cuzzy's lucky that Cheryl wasn't in that dugout last night when he called out a couple of Twins on pitches that were foot outside.
Actually, I have a question about Cheryl.
Huh?
I have a question about Cheryl.
Yes.
How do you feel when she criticizes media and fans? Like if someone, like we've done this before and gotten our hands slapped, if we say, it's been 30 years since one of the major sports teams won a championship, and she always is on the hunt for that sort of slight. How do you feel?
Well,
about
it's
that?
a summer sport in a 12-team league, and they play 30. I think this year they're playing 34. Usually they play 38 games. So it's a nice summer activity. I'm sure they enjoy winning championships, but to suggest that this isn't a hell of a lot different than the Lakers when they were the dynasty, because they were winning an 8-team league, right? A couple of years it was an 8-team league that the Lakers won. It's not the same. It does not, it's not the equivalent of playing in a 30-team league and playing it like the NBA and playing 82 games. It's not the equivalent. And not, I think you have to win one, now 3, and I think 7 or 8 games, you win the title, right? If you win 7 or 8 games, to win the NBA title and NHL Stanley Cup, you got to win 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, nobody's gonna say, well, football's only a 17-game schedule, since half of the people are dead when it ends. So I mean, it's not exactly it's not equivalent. Okay, their players have to go make money in Europe and Asia and other places. They play 11 months a year, and only 4 of those months are in this country. The other factor, of course, is now you're going to have players staying in college, making sure they don't leave early, because they can make more money. They can make more money in college than they make in the. Paige Beckers is going to be the highest paid basketball player in America, playing a sophomore year at UConn.
Mm-hmm.
So no, Cheryl does not have a legitimate complaint, but that doesn't mean she's not going to complain, because she's very good at that. Yes. So.
Hey, Pat, did you by chance catch our Bally Sports North moment of Twins Red Sox last night when Morneau suggested that Griffin Jack's getting the crap kicked out of him, I think in the 5th, might be better than the success he experienced early in the game, because you can learn from getting the crap knocked out of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we've had a lot of guys learning this year, haven't we? We've really done a lot of
He
learning.
actually told Dick that. He said, in some ways, this is more beneficial.
What happened? Did he go to like a 3-day camp where they, is it a cult? Does BSN, does the Valley Sports, do they have a 5-day cult where they get you in there?
They've got
wash your brain, and
they've got their own Maharishi
partners. These are our partners.
No.
Never tell the truth. Never say that they Never say they suck eggs. Don't ever say anything.
It's like, hey Pat, it's like when the Beatles went to see the Maharishi
Yes,
in India.
right.
So like Dick's now playing the sitar, and Justin is now just at one. The Twins are losing. I'm at one. I'm at peace. I'm at peace with everything.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You figured it out.
I looked it up today. I like to check these things as we try to explain how come they're so rotten. To repeat, 4th in ERA last year, 28th as of tonight. This year, ahead of the Diamondbacks and the Orioles. The only team that they have better pitching than are the Diamondbacks and the O's. By the way, the O's 19 in a row, and they got Ohtani tonight, so they could be in trouble.
One of the narratives I have seen from, I'm not going to name names, but there are some people who write about the Twins that, listen, you guys need to stop ripping the front office. Pitching development takes 4, 5, 6 years. And so, and last year was a wash. By the way, last year was a wash only for the Twins. All of the other teams got a head start, apparently, somehow.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like I get the cupboards were kind of bare, but it wasn't like they started with the bad news bears,
This is year 5, isn't it? I mean, I know last year was a short year, blah, blah, blah. But, well, I'm ready to see the development. Let's see it here. Let's go. Let's have this Joe Ryan pitch next week, right? We have to.
Declan's guy.
Run these guys out there. Let's see it. Come on. Let's get going.
Phil's guy too. He loves Joe Ryan. Big Joe Ryan.
I love the wrestler Joey Ryan. Yeah. If you guys want a tip, go look Joey Ryan up on YouTube.
There are no excuses for this team. They blew up a bullpen that didn't need blowing up.
Yep.
They knew they needed starters, and they went and got J.A. Happ and Matt Shoemaker. They deserve everything they've received this year. Plus, Lamont Wade spent all winter working on his attempt to create power. And and they knew this, 4 days a week, driving an hour each way to work with his old coach in Baltimore and in Maryland, trying to say, okay, we got to do something down here in the lower body and try to hit with some power to go with everything else. And instead of waiting and see, they had to know this was going on, right? Instead of waiting to see, on February 4th, they gave him away. And don't tell me you have a surplus of outfielders when Jake Cave is one of your outfielders and Byron Buxton, who never plays, is the other. As long as you have Byron Buxton in your outfield, you never have a surplus of outfielders because he's not going to play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He might play today, but he's not going to play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And to let this guy go and have him go hit 17 home runs in a big ballpark I mean, that's not it as far as on-field personnel screw-ups they've made either. We can go back to Donaldson and the whole deal, but I mean, they screwed this thing up, and they got to take responsibility for it.
Last 3 starts for the Blue Jays. Jose Berrios, 12 earned runs.
He was awful.
He got hit again last night.
He screwed the start before this one. He made his own error, and which is unusual. And then he wasn't good, but last night he was terrible. 8 hits and 8 hits in the first 2 innings.
Yep.
I don't know. He gets. I said the one. I like him a lot, but he is such a wired up, emotional guy that when he has a bad one, he can't leave him behind. That's the way he's had those 5, 6 lousy starts in a row every year at this time of year too.
Yeah. So last year, I think he was good in August last year because they started the season in August.
Yes, right.
So even with a good August last year, his career August ERA is now 5.5. It's a 1.5 higher than any other month in his
it's
career.
Not physical, do you think? I mean, he can't wear out. He pushes trucks and stuff, right? I mean, he's physically fit as you could get. That I think my theory is he has a 2 bad starts, he can't put it behind him. He goes to the mound and his mind has got 800 things running through it. Whether it's if I pitch lousy again today, I'm not going to get as much money as I want to get. But I'm sure they've turned on him in Toronto, man. When they first came back there and they got him and they were all fired up. Now they're mad. Now they've went in the tank up there and they're not going to games and they're mad at them too. So that honeymoon lasted about 2 weeks up there in Toronto.
Yeah. I think the Twins probably neglected to mention in those trade discussions August Jose Berrios.
Yes, right.
Blue Jays can figure that out on their own.
It is funny. Usually he snaps back a little in September, but with this team, it's going to be too late. So,
yep.
How about the Yankees? 11 in a row, man alive. A lot of death knells written for them in New York the first half of the year. And
well, look at their lineup. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
I heard Ron Darling last night talking that he said, I did a game the other night when they were talking about the size of these guys. He said that they had 5 straight hitters: Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, Luke Voigt, and who's the 5th one? They had like
Judge. Did you say Judge?
No, he said Judge.
But they had a offensive line, including a tight end, Gallo. Yeah, Gallo. Yeah. They had this monstrous this monstrous lineup, and they're stealing bases too. So,
but the remarkable thing, Pat, is how did they go until now without left-handed power? I mean, they went out and got Rizzo and Gallo now, but in that ballpark, how do you not? If you're the Yankees, how do you not have left-handed power?
I think they just stumbled into a situation where they were paying so much money to, there was about 2-3 years ago, Hank was trying to get him underneath the luxury tax and the whole damn thing. And they spent all that, they spent all their money and they had this lineup, and then finally they had to go get some balance. And when they did, they went and got it big. I'll say that. Yeah. What's your view of Gallo, Phil?
I love him, man. He
walks all the time.
Well, I think he's the ultimate, 3 true outcome. Now there were pioneers before Joey Gallo.
Yes.
And the A's had like 10 of these guys, but he has just one of the most ridiculous stat lines every year. So 2021 so far, all right? He leads the major leagues in both strikeouts and walks. He's hitting only 206, and he has only 11 doubles on the season. But he has 30 home runs and he gets on base all the time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he would have gotten, he's Rob Deere basically, except with more home runs. But he's Rob Deere. But
he has more extra base hits than singles this season, and
I feel sorry for those damn Giants, though. I mean, the most overachieving team in baseball, 81-44, and they know the Dodgers are going to catch them because the Dodgers never lose. You know that I mentioned this to you guys yesterday. I didn't realize the over and under on the Dodgers was 103.5 in Vegas, the highest number ever for any team. So, and they never lose either. So, San Diego though, flop of the year, right? Wow, they're not going to make the playoffs.
That's a disaster too. With all that they try to do, that's a complete disaster.
Yeah.
So hey, Pat, how about the back end of that Red Sox bullpen? Hansel had to come, and he's still Hansel, man.
That was a great at bat by Miguel Sano against our guy Hansel there. I think he swung at 2 fastballs when the ball was being thrown back from the catcher to the pitcher.
Hey, he got a couple more hits last night. We're supposed to be all in. We're all. You know what though? This is guaranteed he'll be back, right? This little. I wouldn't call it a surge, but this display of competence.
Probably. I mean, it should be a guarantee that they get something for him this offseason.
Yes, but I don't know. I'm not saying these guys are incompetent, but I've lost my high degree of faith. Let's put it that way. I'm now in a neutral position to find out.
You and I, first of all, are in lockstep. I was higher on them at my peak than you were.
Yeah.
I might be lower on them now than you are.
Yeah. I don't know what, because there's some stuff out there that just makes no sense. Whether it's 92 million for Donaldson or 9 million for Dobnik, I don't know which it is, but somewhere in between, there's some idiocy going on, and I don't know where it's coming from.
I'm not saying
how about Little Wes? Is Little Wes in trouble?
Yeah,
We've spent zillions of dollars for all his crap.
Yes.
And this is what he's got now. And by the way, Maeda, Tommy John, good luck for 2022, boys.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm not saying that
it's not
you're
sin.
incompetent, Pat. I'm saying what you did is incompetent.
I didn't say you were.
I didn't say you were incompetent.
I've used that excuse in other situations, and it kind of falls on deaf ears once.
All right, Pat. We'll talk to you again Friday.
All right, gentlemen.
See ya.
All right, that's Rapping with Reusse here. I'm Mackie and Judd.